All right, all right, all right. 1 second, everybody. 1 second. All right, all right. As usual, good evening, well, let me go back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to others around the world, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and of course, I'm by myself today. Mr. Adam is on vacation, fellas, ladies and gents. But anyway, we shall move on nonetheless. And heck, I may have to go into third person and invoke the spirit of Adam today. I'm gonna, I may say over to you, Adam, and gonna bring out Adam. Nonetheless, hope everyone's having a wonderful week. Hope everything is going fine for you. All is well on my end. How are you, Miss Fine 29? How are you? So, yes, we're going to jump right on into this. We'll give some folks a few minutes to jump in if they so choose. If you guys don't mind, please like and share so that we can spread the love of the conversation to the folks that everyone may need to hear some things to help some folks out along the way. This world, we all know this world that we live in is ever vastly changing and things can be quite crazy. But nonetheless, all right, here we are. So today, today's topic is 50.15% APR. Are we dating or am I financing you? Now, off the break, I know most people think when they see a topic like this that it's primarily men talking about women. But, if any of you know me, I like to bring things right down the middle. I don't like to really bother one side to the other. So I'm only saying that to say this particular topic is basically a twofold type of thing. It's happening, of course. Men could have stories for days about how they feel like they're financing someone or what have you. And believe it, there are women that are also, if they're honest, they are providing the financing as well. So I figured this is a good topic to chew on, talk about, and let's just, dive on into this thing. So, step one, let's break it all the way down to the A, B's, and C's. For those who may be watching who may not understand the lingo of the show, basically, what is financing? Simple definition in the book, it says it means to provide funding for a person or an enterprise. I repeat, what is financing? To provide funding for a person or an enterprise. Now, in the case of the dating world, of course, we're talking about providing funding to them folks. All right. Okay. So, number two, I would say I hear the person on the wall saying, why does this financing topic apply in dating today? Okay. So, don't keep me in mind. I'm looking at my notes while I'm talking to you guys. So, number one, the landscape of dating has changed to a pay to play environment, meaning what you're coming with is pretty much is what's going to take you where you want to go. If you're not coming with nothing, you're probably not going to have nothing. That's where things are. Things are vastly escalating. Yes, yes, I know there are some good men and women out there that say it's not me, my person and I don't deal with that. We just give and take. Sure. But the vast majority on this dating wheel that's happening out here today in these slowly budding relationships or even some already established relationships, there is very much a financing of sorts going on. Okay, then what are some of the reasons for this financing epidemic? Okay, all right, ladies, don't throw the rocks. But some of them, of course, these are all my opinions, and this is going on both sides, men and women. I personally believe a lot of the reasons for this shift in this, I guess, pay to play sort of environment, aside from people just either needing money or wanting your money. Aside from that, look, we have things where people have pretty much upped the ante. Everybody has changed their appearances. People are in the gym like 90 going north. You got people that are you have the under the knife committee, yes, community, if you will, the BBLs, the augmentations. Heck, with them fellas, you got fellas getting BBLs and augmentations. You have men and women getting the quote on boss bag. Like, just even if you're not having any of those things done physically, it's just the dynamics of money are changing today. And so, not that money should change love, but an undisciplined person with money will change it. So what it does is it makes people start to feel like, hey, in order to deal with me, to be with me, I need you to be able to be qualified to do this or to come with that. If you don't, we don't have nothing to talk about, in so many words. So what people are doing is, if they want to get on that wagon, they're either faking it. Some people fake it to make it. Some people will step out and tell you they have all of this, and yeah, I can comply with the things you're asking for that you want. And then you'll have the folks that will do it, like they may legitimately have it, and they'll do it for a while. And then after a while, the hopes are with this funding that, okay, I'm doing this, and I hope this person see that I'm doing this for their benefit. I'm trying to look out and do this. And then after a while, you're hoping the person back off and say, I appreciate all the help you did, and you really was looking out and being a good person. But typically, we all know what we start is hard to turn off. Once you start something, once you start having a person dependent upon something, it's like heck to get them to back out of it. It's really hard. So now I got to address this one part. So I've already talked about what is financing, why does it apply in dating today, the reasons for this financial culture. Now I want to talk about the pre-existing conditions. So pre-existing conditions are, from my perspective, when you hear the narrative from the man, he'll say, "Oh, none of this is about me because I already do for my woman. She don't have to worry about nothing. She don't want for nothing. I pay for everything. Heck, she don't even work. She sit at home." We all hear those narratives. So you got that part of it. Then you might have the woman who may say the same thing on the other side. She's going to say, "Hey, I do for him, or I make sure he don't need for anything, and this is just what we do." And if those situations, I call willful donations. They're not necessarily a financing, because the person is going in already having a fair exchange or an understanding, because this, I guess, the exchange is not fair if one person is paying for everything and the other person is just, I guess, benefiting in their own way. I guess maybe they're reciprocating in another way. But nonetheless, yeah, it's called willful. That's willful donations. That don't have anything to do with the financing concept. It's just you giving it, and that's that. Now, this is about the part of the show where I would probably say, Adam, what do you think? And you know what Adam will say? Oh, Charles, what is this happening? Don't people have their own jobs? I don't understand. Are you kidding me? Like, so you mean to tell me you expect a grown person to support you and pay your life? This is why I'm glad I'm married and not on the single scene. But anyway, thanks, Adam. Back over to me. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you guys this question. And in this show, honestly, I want you guys to be, don't be afraid to comment, ask your questions, and let's make this a give and take exchange. If you guys are not afraid, all those things, open these things up, and let's talk about this. I mean, it's just a discussion. There's no one fix to this. So I'm going to ask you this question. This is for everybody to think about this. Let this question sink in for you. Are you in an existing loan agreement. And when I say a loan agreement, I'm going to throw some characteristics out there, and I want you to just tell me what you think. So basically, when I say, are you in an existing loan agreement? Are you currently financing someone? And this is how you know if you're financing someone, from my perspective. If you feel anxiety in your gut about what would happen if you stop the funding because you believe that the person would either drastically change or if they will leave, that's how you know you're financing somebody. So I'm going to repeat that one more time. Charles, how do I know how do I feel, I believe if I'm financing someone? Again, if you feel anxiety in your gut about if you stop the funding cycle here's the important part, that if you stop the funding cycle that you began, that the person would either drastically change or leave. That's financing. Because honestly speaking, from my perspective, if someone truly genuinely cares about your well-being and understands, like the old folks would say, that money don't grow on trees, and that no one is just out here throwing around and throwing away money, that people are actually trying to work together and like we always say in the community, and build together to do something, then you would know that people just randomly just don't have money. Positive working people, let me correct that. Positive working people just don't have money to just throw away on people that just feel that they are deserving of it, of someone else's hard-earned money. So that's that. So you have to ask yourself that question. Do I feel like the person I'm with, if I stop being me, meaning the way I have been with them, that we all have that, oh, that person is spoiled, I do everything for them, but then on that those you have those times where you step to yourself and you get frustrated because you feel like, I do everything, I don't get nothing in return. And let's just be honest, we can all have those moments where you feel like you're doing everything and nothing's coming back. So it begins to start that resentment trend. And so you're with someone that you love, care about, or want to remain with, but you really feel that void because you don't feel like the person is pretty much putting enough skin in the game to keep the playing field leveled. So that's where all of that begins to come from. Now, let's move into the types of financing. Number one, direct cover charges. Let's just what are cover charges? Cover charges, Charles. We all have been there. No one's, I guess, no one's some saints and holy rollers on the phone where on the show that we haven't all showed up at a club or somewhere, bar, whatever, and they said this is the cover charge to get in. Well, today, dealing with people, we have turned into a community of people that are approaching relationships with a cover charge stamped on us. Such and such and such and such 99, such and such, whatever, thousands, whatever the case is, we have cover charges now. And so what's happening is you got to live within that truth and break down where you fall. So there are the direct cover charges, and those are people that are about that life. And what I mean when I say about their life, direct cover charges are people that will spill out to you from the gate. Whether a guy's approaching a beautiful woman that he already sees that she's decorated, no matter whoever did it for, whether she did it for herself or someone else bought it, she's already decorated in a way that if you step to this person, you got to know, you're going to pass out some chips. So to make a long story short, direct cover charges are people that will tell you outright from the jump that these are my needs and these are my expectations financially if you want to deal with a person like me. Now, this is whether it's a man or woman, because I've seen it where both sides. I've seen the women spit it out pretty clearly, and I have even seen the dudes tell the woman what they needed. And it just depends on your level of how cocky you are. But heck, they put it out there like that. So that's that. Number two, indirect cover charges. Now, this is where I probably take issue the most. I may not agree with the direct, but I can respect it because at least the person is saying what they're giving you the heads up and giving you a chance to make a decision as to whether or not you want to deal with this sort of financing or not. Indirect financing is tough because indirect cover charges basically it consists of a person that nickels and dimes and issues you to death. And when I say nickel and dime, hey, you got $40? Cash out me this. Hey, you got $100? Cash out me that. I need it. It's a quick emergency, real quick. And you sitting there like, what? So you got all of that. You got all that going on. Then you got, if it's not the nickel and diamond, it's the issues. Something wrong with this. Something broke over here. Oh, this and this. My cousin, guess what? I didn't realize I don't get paid. You're like, none of that has anything to do with me. But people try it. If nothing gets under my skin enough, it is indirect cover charges. I can deal with the straight up ones. Come straight. Just them indirect ones that it'll drain all of the intention out of anybody. Somebody could have started with intentions and saying this is going to be great. I see Trish Raj got the running. That's right, run, Trish. When you see that coming, because the indirect part is this. People are the I guess the dichotomy of indirect cover charges is that the person would rather manipulate their way in rather than provide you with the truth so that you can have your own choice. That's what's so scary about the indirect, because the indirect person is almost like the leech. Let me leech onto you and let me smile and kiki and ha ha with you. But really, I see that you are what they refer to as a mark. You a mark, or you are, I've even heard it referred to, oh, you look like a Vic. People say somebody look like a Vic. Like, what is that? But basically, you look like the easy person I can take advantage of. So as a result of that, people will, if you do an assessment, if anybody out there has had that nickel and dime person or that issue person in a relationship, that you like the person, you cared about them, but every time you look around, you like, do you have life management skills at all? But it just seemed like every time you look around, it was something. You're like, what in the world is going on? And so you got that going on, and then the people will get into you. And then before you know it, you are vested in your relationship it is just like the platform of your relationship is now you with someone that basically you have let them know that whether you say I don't have it, I gotta pay bills, I gotta do whatever. Well, this time I can't do it this time. In their mind, I don't need to hear none of that because you have been doing it to this point. So because you've been doing it to this point, you need to keep going and keep this ship arise. Keep this thing flowing. I don't care about the other problems you got. You got to keep giving and giving like you've been doing. So that's tough. Then we have what I call purposeful entrapment. Purposeful entrapment. Purposeful entrapment are when you find a person who, by all intents and purposes, they got the bag, whether it's female, male, they got the bag. And what they'll do is immediately shower you with money and gifts. And I'm going to do all this for you, setting projections, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. But they're setting those things because I keep telling people all the time, nothing in life is free. No matter how much we think we're special and fine, handsome, whatever, nobody wants to sow anything into someone else other than a spiritual cause or whatever your belief, higher power, whatever that may be. Other than that, no one wants to sow anything into a person that they're in a relationship with and not feel like on the other side there is going to be a fair exchange. If there's not going to, it may be okay if the person is saying, if I'm paying your mortgage, how much I'm getting, or what you gonna do for me on blah blah blah. I mean, we've heard this. People don't do these things. People and we get deceived because we actually go around and tell family and friends and anyone in our circle that, look, I'm messing with Bruce. Girl, Bruce pay my rent and my car. No, yes, he do. Why he doing all that, girl? He love me. No, Bruce is not a stupid man. Make no mistake about it. If someone like a Bruce was doing something like that in exchange, it's expected. Make no mistake about it. Now he may be a good dude. Yes, he's a great dude. But men, people aren't stupid. Women, it could be the women or men. I've seen. Heck, let me go into the story box for a quick second. I remember when I was in college, and I had met this girl in one of my classes. I'm trying to be easy because I think she looks at the show. But anyway, I met this person in one of my classes, and she was a nice looking woman, right? She was a nice looking woman, but she was probably more on the plus model size. But anyway, so she was nice, all of that. She was really funny. I like that about her more than probably anything attractive wise. She was just nice, right? I don't have no qualms, and I'm not typically choosy like that. Anyway, so I went along to get along, and I was just being cool. Nothing happened, nothing escalated to them kind of behind closed doors places or nothing like that. But I did notice when she said, okay, this guy is conversing with me. He's talking to me. He's talking back and forth. We hang out. We may go to the Fridays. I know y'all know about the old Fridays back in the day when Fridays was the spot. We would go to Fridays and eat or what have you and all of that. And it'd be cool. But I remember I was not attracted physically to her. She was funny. She was nice, even though she was actually attractive. Just the other stuff I just wasn't that attracted to. So we were cool. We went along to get along. And then I said, oh, what's happening? She upped the ante and changed the game. Let me tell you what the lady did. One time, now mind you, I'm in college. So even though mom and dad got me in college, it's not like they were just, we weren't coming from the White House. So the money counted. So it wasn't like I was just up there and things was just being thrown and given. So I remember one time my car had broke down, and I was like, I gotta take my car over here to the shop. My mom's gonna be mad. I don't want to use this credit card for this, that, and the other. And she said, in her mind, here is my move. Now, mind you, me and this person had only knew each other for about a good month. We were seeing each other every day, so it seemed like a lot. But we weren't in a relationship. We was just hanging out, going places to eat fun. There wasn't no intimate exchanges. We was just hanging out. Went to the place. The lady says, I took my car to the shop, and she went with me. And I said, I said, you're going to ride with me. I said, can you follow me? I'm going to drop my car off, and then we will go back to the school. She said, okay, I got you. And I must admit, I did like hearing, I got you. But anyway, so we went to the car place, and she came behind me. I dropped off the car, and she said, hold on for a minute. I said, what do you mean? She said, give me a minute. I got to go use the bathroom. And I said, all right. So I'm waiting in her car. She goes inside. She took about 10 some minutes. I'm like, what's going on? So then she comes back out. We leave, Bruce. Look, the dude calls me about maybe 3-4 days later. It was a hefty cost. The bill was probably about, at the time, it was about maybe like almost, for all the work they had to do, it was probably like $1,400. The guy called me and said, I called him. I was like, okay, are you guys almost done? Because I know the guy told me 2 days and I haven't heard from anybody. He said, your car has been done. It's already taken care of. And I said, huh? I said, did I leave a credit card with you? He was like, oh no, the young lady that came with you, she paid for it. And I said, oh, here we go. Oh, that was a position to be in, because honestly, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like, I was like, okay, that's a lot. I didn't ask you to do it. You're not my woman. all those things. So it put me in a funky spot. But what I got out of that was, oh, this is the overlay for the underplay. So what she did was I had the conversation with her, I talked to her, and I was like, hey, I said, first, let me say, I appreciate you for doing this. But I said, but I want to give you the money. I said, I want to give you the money because I said, that's kind of, I said, I don't want to, I said, I appreciate it, but I don't want to do this and that and the other. I just want to give you your money. It took me an hour of trying to convince her to give her money back, to her to finally say, you can give me the money back, but I'm still going to be me and do what I do. And I said, what does that mean? She said, you my people, so I'm going to do what I do. I said, well, what does that mean? Like, we hanging out, we friends, so what do you mean? So she said, I got you. And I was like, so I'm confused. So needless to say, we still being friends. And every chance this person got, she was trying to shower me with the cell phones. Oh, I got you these jeans. Oh, I thought I saw this coat. I thought that you might look good and all this stuff. I'm just sitting there like, now I'm younger. So, there's a certain level of some naiveness, even though I was still centered on what was happening. I knew what was going on, but I guess I was playing dumb. But anyway, so I let her give me the stuff. But anyway, so make a long story short, here's where I paid for it. And this is a lesson to people. When you know someone is purposefully doing something, looking for a reaction, you got to say to yourself, do I keep letting this drive like this? Or if I'm not honest on that level, if I'm not interested on that level that they're interested in, then I need to stop it and just say, look, I appreciate your gestures, but I don't want anything. I'm good, right? So being me, walking around, got my Sergio Tacchini coat, got my Bill Ross sweatsuit. I'm just all back in those, back in them late 80s, 90s. Bruce, look, that was it. But listen, I remember we went to a party on campus. Then at this party, I saw and caught the attention of someone that I really was attracted to, right? I don't know the person, but we just talking about in the party attracted. So we flirting back and forth, and the girl I was with, the friend I was with, she walking around doing her stuff and mingling with her people. Next thing I know, she comes over there. So I'm talking to the young lady. We just chatting. Me and the girl were just chatting. Next thing I know, something says, and I said, the chick threw some drink on me. Oh, really, Charles? You gonna do me like that out here? I'm like, now look, we're not gonna disrespect me in this establishment. So I went outside. I had to kind of get at her a little bit to tell her about the stuff, right? I don't do nothing to no women. I don't hear no women, nothing like that. But I did have to let her know this ain't that, right? Bruce, tell her I am from Southeast DC. I'm just ain't that. So to make a long story short, we had to talk outside. We talked about it. And she ain't care. She said, yeah, okay, but you disrespected me. And I said, how did I disrespect you? I really got mad at this point. Because I'm like, we're not in a relationship. What do you mean I disrespect you? Oh, yeah, but you got on my coat. Don't them Timbs, you got on my boots. And I said, oh, now that was the moment. Now, nobody in life ever knew this, what I'm going to say right now afterwards. That was the moment that I said, never again will I get financed. Never, especially for something I'm not signing on for. I don't like nobody feeling like they have nothing to hang my neck with. And people will do it. Make no mistake about it. That's the worst part about the spoiled cycle. Everybody has been through it at some point or another, whether you were younger, older, married, engaged, what have you. We have all had those people who was like, oh, that person that give me the world. And the minute you go against what their world is, they want the whole world they gave you back. Oh, they're going to stalk you for it. They're going to damage something for it. They're going to give me that. I've seen people take bags out of people's houses and clothes and all sorts of things. They wanted it back because they felt like, look, these items I gave you, in long story short, these were the items I gave you to control you. I didn't give you these things to really endear you. These were things I gave you for the purposes of control. Make no mistake about it. So to wrap up the young lady, she kept, when she said that thing sent a shock through my brain, Bruce. When she said, take off my coat and my boots, and mind you, I have my own clothes. I love clothes. But you want to buy them back in them days, I like, you want to buy them, you go ahead. So I didn't say nothing, but I learned a valuable lesson because she was an on-campus stalker for a while, Danielle. For a little while, 929, she was a stalker on the campus, coming to my room and knocking on the door of my room. Because at the time I was in a dorm, my roommate told me, hey Troy, it's that girl again. And listen, he didn't help it none. He didn't help the situation none, because me and my roommate were already jokesters. Already. But what he would say, this is what he would say. And this, I don't want to say this because they may Me Too me online. But anyway, he said, hey Charles, it's hey, it's Van Albert. That's what he was saying, was at the door, because the girl was big, right? But she was a cute girl. I gotta keep saying that. But he would tease her because she was at the door. And I said, listen, I'm gonna tell the campus, blah, 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 whatever. So just think, for years, even as a young college lad, Bruce, I had to deal with the stalking. I've been dealing with stalking for years. But anyway, to make a long story short, but that was my first instance on record of stalking. The girl kept coming. Good thing I didn't have, good thing, I didn't take no hits to my property. But back in them days, everywhere I was, I just didn't understand. I was young, but I didn't understand. She wanted, like, all those things that she did, knowing that we were not in a relationship, knowing that we were never intimate. She did all those things being kind, but foolish to me. I thought they didn't come with anything back in that time. But make no mistake about it, they came with what she wanted. She's like, if I'm doing this for you, I am buying you. But so let me tell you how I leveled the score, though. And we're going to cap this off. I leveled the score in that situation, but I waited. That one time when I told that counselor on our floor, I was like, this person keep coming to the boys' dorms and this, that, and the other. You need to handle it. Oh, I'm going to handle it. It's fine. And when they went to handle it, when they had her occupied, I told my friend, I said, help me with these bags. I took all of the stuff that person had gave me or purchased or whatever. I took it right to her dorm. I told her little mate, little Rebecca, modern day Karen. But I told her, I said, listen, can you put these in there? These are for this person, please. And just tell them such and such, drop them off. And that they said, thank you. I gave back everything. You wasn't gonna hold nothing on my head. Bruce, listen, to tell me to take off a coat and some shoes, that just said like a lightning bolt of common sense. I have not looked back since. I said, never, ever again will you say that. But anyway, these are the things that happen sometimes when you purposefully attempt to entrap somebody for the purpose of gaining control. Now, she said, Danielle said, watch your step. Plus size women here. Danielle, but Danielle, let me tell you something. If you calling yourself a plus size woman, I would consider you a dime or a nickel, because this person was probably $1. It's a difference. But anyway, so to say on that note, let's get to, since we're at the midpoint, let's get to how do we change the narrative if we are a person finding ourselves in a financing relationship. So this is kind of like my perspective, what the solution would be. So in the real world, yes, that's right, Antoine, it did. It changed my whole life. I just, like I said, maybe that was a good thing because I never look back again. But how we go about changing this. So much like in the real world, when we get overloaded with debt or get into a loan agreement that we find ourselves overwhelmed with it, you got one or two choices. You either are going to just say, screw it, I'm gonna pay off the debt and be done with it. Although that other person incurred the debt, you're gonna pay it off and be done with it. Or this is what I like this part. Or the other alternative. Now, this has sometimes people feel certain kind of ways about this real world reality, but guess what? A lot of people do it of all skin types. But make a long story short, the one thing you could do is either pay it off or you can declare bankruptcy. That means, hey, I got so far overhead I got so far in over my head, I'm drowning as a result of what I allowed to happen in my world. So I had to go back and do this. So declaring in a situation in a situation where you are in a financing relationship where you feel as though it's more finance than it is dating. If you're going to declare bankruptcy, that means I'm going cold because bankruptcy, let's look at it like this. We all know that chapter 7 wipes it clean. So you got to wipe it clean, meaning you would have to you got to think it through now. I'm not telling you to ever do anything without thinking it through. But when you see that this is on the horizon and this person is playing me and just benefiting from me, you have to stop. The only way you're going to find some dignity about yourself to be able to go on, to move on and be better about it is you literally have to stop. Like just cold turkey. And I know people that are like cares. If you're like a caring person at heart, or you want to help it, or I love, you want to keep doing it. And you feel bad when you stop. But if you don't stop, that person will never take their foot off of your neck. Because in their eyes, you are the UZ. And the user will always use the UZ if you position yourself that way. So that's why you have to be, like Fan 29 said, you let your no be no. And that's just that. Like you really gotta stop the whale. And you can, I promise you, you will see in them because people will they'll go to levels. When you say no, then they'll like, let's just say if it was like, you've been paying such and such that costs 800 or 1,000, then they're gonna say, well, how about just 4, 3? No, none of it. Like you got to stop cold turkey. And I guarantee you, once you stop, you are going to see your truth unfold right in front of your eyes. And your truth is going to, in 9 times out of 10, when you go ahead and you cut that whole thing off, people they're going to get into their, what I call their grown person pout, where the first step is that they're going to try to change in the way that they're dealing with you. That's the first part. They're going to try to, you're going to be like, because what they're trying to do is say, if I start acting this way and they keep asking me what's wrong with me and I'm not responding, then it'll get so bad to a point that that person will say, look, just take the $1,000. I'm tired of all just acting all like, you don't got to act like that. They're thinking that you're going to give up and let them just go ahead and get what they want out of the situation. Then that'll be done. But look, you're going to have to be okay with taking that risk. I mean, because they're going to take you. That's going to be the first route that you're going to get. Because not everybody's going to go cold turkey. Because remember, the user does not respect the UZ, and as a result of not respecting the UZ, you can hear them talk about saying no, what they ain't going to do, what they going to got it. They don't have it. The user is just going to wait you out, and they're going to call themselves starving you out from the attention, from being around you. If intimacy involved, they're gonna stop that. They're gonna stop calling, texting, all those things to put you in a state of withdrawal, so that you're gonna be sort of like, well, I'm not used to this. But guess what? And like just like somebody who needs to have something out of their system, you're gonna have to go through that process of the withdrawals, of abstaining in those withdrawals in order to get to the other side, because it's tough. Telling the user and the UZ concept is crazy. So you have to be able to tell somebody no, because a lot of us have good in us. I don't care what people can say about somebody on this. All of us have a good in us that we know we generally like to see the person that we're with You want to see them happy. You want to see them have the things that you yourself would want to do for yourself. But we all know in some cases you cannot afford to do that. When you do it, I mean, there's never a reason for you to dummy down on you for the sake of of lying to yourself to say, but I'm doing this because I love them. No, you're doing it because you're codependent. You're codependent on this person's presence that you're willing to pay for it. And that's what we're doing. When you know something is bleeding at the side and you know morally that the person is taking advantage of you, but the only thing that you think that you have to keep that person near you is resources, that's a bad situation. So that's why I say you have to be willing to risk the break. I don't care what the person is giving you. Um, it can be it could be gold dust down there. It doesn't matter. Let the person go. You trust me, you having your common sense and having your mental, like in this day and time, none of us can afford to let anybody cloud your mental health. Like nowadays, people are losing their mind, they stressed out, people are just having nervous breakdowns and schizophrenia on the rise, all sorts of things all over. And most of this is over people feeling desperate because they don't have enough resources or money to stay afloat in this society, to be relevant, or if they don't have they feel like I'm not able to keep up and take care of my person. She gonna leave, or she or he gonna leave if I can't keep giving them the bag. You don't need anybody that if you're not pumping fuel into them every day, they're not gonna ride for you. You don't need nobody like that. If the person only is with you because of your lifestyle, your finances, or whatever that you have, that's not a relationship. That's a leadership. It's not a relationship. That's somebody who's only with you because they are gaining from you. If you stop the giving, they stop the living. Period. Point blank. That's right, Bruce. Survival. So that's what this gotta you have to be the survival of the fittest out here. And you have to say, listen, I'm not doing this. Irregardless of what you say, irregardless of what you want, I don't have it. And this is not the kind of relationship that I want. There's no reciprocation. I don't even sometimes your person don't sleep well at night because everybody knows what it feels like when somebody has a muzzle on your neck and you get taken advantage of. We all know what it feels. Everybody can be whatever you feel you are. I'm a gangster lover, but everybody knows at some point in time you have played the fool for somebody. And as a result of it, we all know what it feels like to be that fool that can't let go or can't wake up. So when you are seeing that happen or feeling it happen, you gotta jump to it and be like, it's not worth it. Like it's just not worth it. So remember that word, declare. When you declare, that's the powerful part about the bank. The bankruptcy is the emptying of the relationship, but the declaration is when you are saying, you are declaring it in the atmosphere that I'm over this. I'm not doing this no more. I'm done. Like that's the modern I'm done. Declare I'm done with the foolishness. I'm not gonna let somebody keep on. Because I mean, you want to find something that'll drive you to mental ruin. Nothing drives you to mental ruin other than when you realize a person is only with you because you are a UZ. That's it. They don't see you could be the smartest person, great gifts, talented, wonderful, whatever. It's no more depressing of a feat when you realize with all of that I possess and have. You mean to tell me you don't like none of those things about me? All you like is what you can get out of this? That's a humbling reality. When you really can see someone change right in the midst of what's happening simply because you stopped doing something. And let me tell you here's one of the lame lines that you hear that'll let you know you're on the right track of listening. When you stop doing something and then the person stops and you stop doing something and they start emotionally mistreating you, then you'll say, well, what's wrong with you? Now you already know you done stopped giving You know this, like you stop giving and you have no intentions of continuing, but they giving you nothing but attitude. Sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's the action. Sometimes it's that whole the body language. You don't have to. You can kind of see what's happening. They kind of being short with you, and then when you approach them and say, "You good? What's wrong?" I'm just focusing on me right now. Do you know what I would say? You should have been focusing on yourself, and maybe you wouldn't be in this poor condition. Don't tell me no, I'm focusing on myself when you can't get your way no more. No, you should be focusing on yourself, period. That's how you maintain yourself, by focusing on yourself all along. You don't have to be separate from a relationship just because you're not being financed. Now, if you want to leave, you leave, but don't just, oh, now I'm focusing on myself. This should have been step one. Everybody should focus on themselves, but that's not something to be indifferent from relationship. You can be in a relationship and getting it together. You don't have to separate to get yourself together. You know what that means? When people tell you I'm working on me, that means I'm working on finding a new UZ. That's what that means. Nobody telling you something, I'm working on me. Yeah, right. That's not how we built. People don't go from wanting presence in their lives and somebody around you to all of a sudden becoming strong in your lack. Who can be strong in their lack except there's a faith attached to it? That's the only way you're going to get strong in your lack, is with faith attached to it. But in a relationship, when people are in their lack, they're not getting strong, they're becoming divisive. And they're saying, how can I figure out this to get to the next Vic, to get out of this one, since this blah 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 has stopped funding? Heck, it could be worse. Listen, like it's like an old girl did back in the college days. Some of y'all can get some real life repossessions. People will take them cars, take them keys to them places, and all that kind of stuff, and you be out on the street. So the worst thing is, don't get cute with people when somebody has been doing for you that don't have to. Like a person, nobody has to give you anything because you grown. I always say that you grown. No job or not just job don't make that much money, whatever the case. There are things in this day, in this world, it's so many ways to find resources if you get off your tail. There's so many ways if you get beyond feeling entitled or feeling like I have to be able to have that person's money. How demented is that? Is to say, I don't even want to build myself up because you are what are you? You are just lame enough to let me take from you. Why go out here and build when I can use my looks to get? That's pretty much what today is. I don't have to build anything. My looks get me it all. Whether if you the guy, you out here slanging like Billy the Kid, you get my drift. You slinging all that. But anyway, you out here doing that, or whether you the woman who think you just the Barbie doll, Coke bottle shaped queen, and every dude is at your front door in your inbox. At the end of the day, nothing beats having your own, whether it can be a little pot or big pot, because you can sleep at night with your own stuff. But if you're a person that have to live your life taken from somebody else because you recognize the weakness effect that they have in them because of your presence, that's the real predators. That's the real predator right there. That's what the Me Too movement should be about. That Me Too, that person took from Me Too. That's what some men should start it. He too. But anyway, so yeah, but that's the real thing. Men and women. Look, women have given and people have taken from them. Guys, I know probably in more cases than none, men have probably wore some women out over the years because it's like a dual effect. You taking the money, you taking her resources, you taking her physically. So it's a triple threat: the money, her resources, her intimacy. That's how you really leave somebody bankrupt emotionally. So that's why I know women can get the business when it comes to that. So I'm not trying to diminish which side is which, because you do got some guys that have went to the poorhouse behind trying to finance somebody who they honestly knew up front they were not in position to play that ball game. It was way out of your league. And this is when people say out of your league, it doesn't mean that person are not deserving of dating anybody. But there are certain people, depending on where they and how they live their life, they're letting you know this is me way up here. Peon, that's what they're saying. I'm way up here. So if you're not ready to play up here, don't waste your time because I'm gonna take your check, everything, all your stuff will be gone trying to mess with me. That's what's out here, and so we got to be aware of that. When you meet people, them red flags should be up front. There's a funny meme I see on social media a lot where there's a guy and it's just a guy he's calling a woman that it says he's calling her 4 days later. He called this girl after he met her out, maybe 3 or 4 days later, and he was just like, hey, and she was like, oh, how you doing? And he was like, yeah, remember me? We met at so and so and so and so. She was like, oh yeah. The very next thing she said on the call, over here trying to pay these bills, and then he just hangs the phone up. But it was hilarious. But the point is, that's how it starts. And we have to get beyond what somebody looks like, what their life may seem like. Because I know for men, a man may want a woman that can accompany him and can complement his lifestyle, his financial setting, whatever he's making, and all those things. You want a woman that can complement you. She doesn't have to be millionaire rich, but you just want someone that can complement your life. That's what we look at, aside from the obvious physical. That's the first thing we're looking at is the physical. The women on the other side, yeah, they want you to be nice looking and all that, but more so than anything, the women is looking at the security picture. Let me look at the perimeter. How safe can I feel in this perimeter? Is this in order? Is that in order? Does that check out? Is that good? Is he okay? Is he a felon? Is he this got all his teeth, got all his hair? Does he got an insurance plan, a 401k? They looking at things to make them comfortable. We looking at things that we want comfort in. They're looking at things that make them comfortable. We're looking at things that we can find comfort in. That's the difference. So my point is, when in the midst of doing this, that's all fine and well. But when you hear them red flags pop up, immediately, when you feel them, don't ignore them. You want to hear something. And when you hear them outlandish stories from someone within the 72 hours, a 2-week period, and they coming with them, those needs and issues, you better run. Trust me, because it's not going to get no better. Because once the person know that they got you hooked and you are interested in that you salivating, now it's just a matter of what we refer to in the street world is finessing. Now it's just let me finesse you, and you're going to give what I need. You're going to give. I keep looking good. If I keep looking good, smelling good, looking good, smelling good, and wooding good, you don't have no problems. Now the women will say, if I keep doing this, looking good, showing him all of this, and let him see what he got, he gonna keep draining them pockets. And that's when you gotta say to yourself, I can't be shallow. Because we've all been there, we all be shallow men. We use the excuse of being visual. We're visual creatures as an excuse to be shallow. No, I don't. That's where discipline for us has to come into play. Like they can be as whatever they want, but take it from someone who probably had all the fruits in the garden in life, but nonetheless, it don't mean a thing if the person doesn't have your best interest. All it does is give you, like in the word, it says, it's vanity and vexation of spirit. It vexes your whole being when you're dealing with somebody who's not aligned with you to be with you, but they're aligned with you to use you. So, if I don't say anything, you guys get out of this, do an assessment and say, which role am I playing? Am I the user or am I the usee? Am I being used, controlled, or am I just, and then you got to be honest. Am I allowing someone, am I willfully participating in someone using me? Because I don't care. I know some of us say, You can use me as long as I can see what you're using, but as long as I'm not alone. You would rather be alone, trust me, than deal with the lifelong ramifications of feeling like you are side B. Excuse me, side B is the reality that you will probably never be side A. And side B is the down payment on secondary relationships for the rest of your life. You're going to be the side chick. You're going to be Valentine's, the day after Valentine's Day. And I'm only saying chick, but this is going on both sides, men and women. I'm only saying chick because I'm a guy. You're going to be the day after Christmas lady, the weekend after Thanksgiving lady. You're going to be, oh, well, we can't shop over there. That's where my real family is. You'll be that person. And men will be the same. Let me tell you, from a male perspective, nothing is more lower. Think about this. Nothing will make you feel no lower than a woman that has a whole family, but has a lack intimately, like she's lacking something intimately. But she come all the way from down from the hill to get the lack filled with you, only to go back up the hill and cope in her misery. That's deep. So when you experience things like that, and when you see how people move like that, it's just like you just it's hard to understand the world and them kind of in them guises. But that's why I say, none of this stuff is worth it for the sake of settling to be somewhere because somebody is feeling a need. Feel your own needs, and the person around you should simply be your overflow. They should be the bonus. Nothing should be the necessity. You should be your own necessity, and the people around you, the person around you rather, should be the bonus to your life. If you're looking at that person that you're with as the necessity, you already lost the game. So, Adam, go ahead and take us out of here, Adam. Well, man, Charles, you talked all the whole show, but let me just tell you, I don't have to deal with that because all of my money goes to my wife. And I'm glad that I'm not single. I'm already married. So I ain't got to deal with all that. Okay, Adam. But anyway, so I appreciate you all for tuning in today. My boy Adam, he's out today. Adam is living his best life over in the Dominican Republic. I told him to be safe, be careful. They be over there stealing. But anyway, we will definitely be back next week. We're going to keep the topics coming. They're already in the hopper. They're going to keep coming. I'm going to post them. We're going to keep going. And we'll keep getting at this. But, I do appreciate you all tuning in and supporting us. I really do. It means a lot to see y'all coming on here and putting into it. Much, much love. All we're trying to do is help shape this dysfunctional world into something that we can live in and make work. As I used to always say, let's continue to heal the world one heart at a time. Thanks for watching Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, and I will see you guys next week. Take care.